Hey guys, what's going on? Charles here, and today we're going over the new Stampede 4x4 brushless setup that we just picked up. We had a slash 4x4 before this, and it was a lot of fun. It was reliable. Any problems that we ran into were purely self-caused from crashing or not paying attention to bearings and keeping those as clean as we could. So otherwise, it's been a very, very reliable setup. Been very happy with it. Power's been good. Parts are cheap for it. But we wanted to get something a little bit bigger, easier, maybe for going through taller grass and off-road conditions. And so we decided to go with the Stampede. Now, the Stampede and the Slash do share a lot of the same components, so swapping things back and forth is actually pretty easy. You can literally buy a Stampede and for less than $50 buy all the parts to switch it over to a Slash. I want to say it's even cheaper than that, but it's pretty cheap to go from one to the other if you wanted. Now for this, I picked up used. It did come with some upgrade parts and everything. It's got the RPM arms on there. Now, it also does have the Castle 8th system set up on it, so that's a huge upgrade, both in potential reliability, but also size compared to the Traxxas brushless setup that they offer in the Slash or the Stampede. We really did like the system in the Stampede and the Slash that comes factory. On our Slash, we had minor issues with overheating, that sort of thing. We didn't run into the issue constantly, but if we were running on 3S, it definitely was a lot more common to have that problem come up. So I'm hoping that with the larger motor combo from Castle Creations here, that we won't have that problem with the heat that we were running into before, because it's a bigger motor. It's not going to have to be working as hard. So overall, the truck seems like it's pretty good condition. Definitely has been used. I mean, the bottom plates here and everything show some use, and tires worn down a tiny bit. Motor's scraped up. It's a little dirty. Nothing too bad though. Exactly what I would expect from a used truck. Everything was operational. Pulled it out of the box and threw a battery in it just to make sure that it would drive around. Everything worked. Everything was perfect. So I'm really excited to kind of get this going with our project here. Now, as I mentioned, the Slash and the Stampede do share a lot of the same components. What I'm actually going to be doing is swapping out the chassis. So front end and rear end are going to stay the same on this. Motor combo, I'm actually swapping out to the Mamba Monster 2. It's going to be the same power and everything, but the ESC is larger, so we should have more headroom as far as heat and power ratings go. So going to swap over the chassis. So when I do that, we're going to get a little bit more room. The Stampede chassis here is really pretty crowded, and guys are having to get creative in order to mount the ESC and the motor in there, as you can tell. So I'm going to get the chassis swapped out for the Slash. The Slash chassis is longer, so one, it'll make it a little bit more stable. Hopefully won't do wheelies as easily, which are cool, but when you're trying to accelerate and be fast, the wheelies obviously are kind of a hindrance to that. It does also have a wheelie bar on there, so that will help on those days that we're on the asphalt driving around. Want to do 50-mile-an-hour wheelies, should be completely doable with this truck. So overall, we're really excited to have this set up, and once we get the chassis and everything swapped over, should be a really, I don't want to say bulletproof, but knock on wood, bulletproof truck, and it'll be quick, fast, and with the larger motor, we shouldn't be running into the heating problems that we were running into with the factory system on the Slash. As far as upgrades go, it does have the RPM arms on there, which I had mentioned, different wheels and tires, the Castle 8th Sidewinder combo. On the rear, it's got the X-Duty MIP axles, and in the center, we've got the Techno drive shaft upgrade. So all of those are pretty much exactly what I would be putting on there. I do have the front MIP X-Duty axles that I will be putting on there, just to really make sure that we're not running into problems breaking stuff when we're out driving around for the day. I'm also going to be designing and setting up some sort of a good cover for the middle drive shaft. Traxxas does offer a clear plastic cover that goes over that, and it works well, but you still end up with a hole up at the front by the servo. So there's guys that are running different either aluminum or carbon fiber rods in there, which completely seal it, but it also somewhat interferes with the steering. So I'm going to be trying to come up with a new system here that's going to be completely sealed, and that way I don't have to worry about running into steering clearance issues or sand, snow, water, anything that we might be coming across when we're out bashing with the cars. Otherwise, the truck looks really solid. It's got a cool body for it and everything. So we're excited to have this in our lineup. We will be getting rid of the Slash since the two are pretty similar, but we are going to hold on to the Stampede parts, and that way in case later down the road we want to switch back over to the Stampede, we can. But otherwise, I'm going to the Slash chassis because we get the longer wheelbase and more room for the electronics to make everything look a little bit neater than the current setup right now.